Welcome to Middle-Aged Magic, the theme park planning and holiday vlogs with your host Sharon
and Sam, and our special guest, Katie from Magically Different.
Hey everyone.
So, we're going to be asking Katie some questions and find out a bit more about her and her blog and get to know her a bit better.
So come back after the plinky plonky music where apparently Sam is not dancing like a muppet.
So, hi, Katie.
Hey, thank you for having me.
That's our pleasure.
Thanks for saying you'll come.
So, we've known Katie quite a few years now, and originally through cosplay and the Mando Mercs. And we both know, we all knew that we had this love of Disney. And now you started your own blog. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did you start your blog?
The main reason really was, and this is a random reason, we had a bit of a gap between trips to Disneyland Paris, and we went back for the first time in a little while last February. And I'm one of life's super planners, and I like reading a good guidebook before I go to Disney on a holiday, to Disney, any of the Disney parks. And the kind of is a bit of a gap in the market for that at the moment. There's a few self-published ones which are very good in their own way, but didn't have all the information that I would put in a guide. And I was thinking, well, I've got loads of information. Maybe I could be writing a guide. And I thought, well, before that, why not share some of the information on the blog instead? And we've come to a point where I'm lucky that I can do other work part-time. So that actually opened up the time for me to do it now, because realistically beforehand it just never would have happened. But yeah, so we really wanted to do this blog, and Ken, who's my husband, obviously people out there are going to know, he's as big a Disney park geek as I am, and he thought it was a really good idea too. And we really went for a slant with it, which is why we're Magically Different Mouse, because we're both differently abled. I have a chronic joint problem, so I have a lot of chronic pain as a result of that. My coordination is just non-existent. Ken, he also has a couple of joint issues, but he also has a mental health condition, so that involves planning around. And last time we went, Ken actually qualified for the priority pass, so it was sharing our experiences with that as well. So that's kind of where the idea came from. And I've got a wonderful spreadsheet with all different ideas for blogs and all sorts, which I'm gradually working my way through. We went out there again in November, which was very largely a kind of a content gathering and idea gathering trip.
Yeah.
So, but
we do those.
Yeah, but also why not? Because it's a trip to Disneyland Paris, and it's always magical.
Yeah, I mean Disneyland Paris's priority pass system is amazing, because I qualify for it with my spine and knee issues. So, and it is very well done. So I that is one thing I will never slam them for, because they are.
No, they. I have to say, we had a little bit of a queue to pick up the pass on the first day, but that's fine. I managed it really well. And other than that, the service with that pass is absolutely amazing. I mean, especially because they get the special viewing area for the nighttime show, and parade, and even like priority queues in the quick service restaurants. That you don't see at. Well, I've never seen it at Walt Disney World. Don't think it exists at Disneyland either. Well, it's been 10 years since we were at Disneyland, so that may have changed.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, even with because I ate in Pim's Kitchen at the weekend.
Nice.
And the queue to get into there, if you had a reservation, was so long. But I spoke to the cast member who was controlling the queue, and I said, "Oh, I've got a reservation, but here's my Black Priority Pass. Come to say hello."
Yes.
Hi, hello.
Hello. There you go. Get back to bed.
But yeah, as just said to her, I've got a reservation, but I've got a priority pass. And she looked at my priority pass and basically opened the tape thing and let me jump straight through.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
Max wants to
think
join
that-
me.
Right, and Ken used to qualify for the DAS pass in World. I don't think he does anymore because
Same with me. Yeah, I had the DAS pass for 13 years and now I
Yeah.
can't get it.
No, yeah, and Ken's going to be qualify for it, and I never qualify for it because my the joint problem or mobility issue, and they didn't really get it regardless. But I think the priority pass system is way better than the DAS system was when we were able to use it. So I think Paris done a good job, and now they're introducing reduced price tickets for people with disabilities and carers, aren't they? Which is really good.
Yeah, because if you do qualify for the priority pass, you then get 25% off your tickets and annual passes.
Yes.
And they got annual passes as well. That's really good.
Yeah. And
because
then,
I'm Sam's carer, I get 25% off my pass too.
Yeah.
Which makes me laugh that I'm her carer because I'm probably as disabled as she is.
Yeah, it kind of goes for Ken and I as well, because technically I count as his carer when we're in the park. So it's just and it was quite funny. We went on the Storybook Canal boat.
Yeah.
And we went in the special entrance for that, but I was the one who ended up being helped out the boat by Casper to get out the boat, even though we were in that area. It was Ken and just like, bye.
Right. So tell us a random fact about yourself, something that no one would really know about you.
Okay. I once met Jason Momoa.
Yes.
I knew you'd like that.
We met him at a convention when he had only been Stargate Atlantis, so it was before Game of Thrones. Before
he was really famous.
Yeah,
became really famous, and it was a little con up in Manchester. But we hardly waited any time for him. Had a picture done with him, and it's great. So now I can say, "Oh, I've met Jason Momoa." So.
And the picture was probably a lot cheaper than it'd cost now.
Oh hell yes! Can you imagine? If he did one of those cons now, I can't even imagine how much it cost to get a picture and autograph.
I think the last time he was in London, which was a couple of years ago, and it was over my birthday, because I was trying to convince Ben that he needed to take me. It was something like £260.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I inflation, all that jazz, but oof, blimey, that is a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, but you'd pay it, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. And more. So what made you fall in love with the Disney parks?
I was very lucky as a child. I got to go to Walt Disney World a lot with my parents and my brother. We started going out to Disney World when I was 5, so this was back because I'm kind of an old lady, and
not as old as us. You're all right.
Yeah. So I've started it really, and this absolute love of Disney parks. That's kind of where it came from. And actually, I didn't first go to Disneyland Paris until 2004, even though it opened back in '92, because. My parents, when we went away, we always went to Florida.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. But I first went to Disneyland Paris with some friends of mine, old school friends, back in 2004. It was like a kind of end of summer holidays break before I was going into university for my master's at the time. So we went then. And that's when I fell in love with Disneyland Paris. And Ken had one trip to Disneyland Paris before I met him. And it was a day trip when he'd driven all the way from the UK and back again in the same day and done the park. And I therefore did not have a very good memory of it. Yeah. So I determined to give him much better memories than when we went. And thankfully, he fell in love with it as much as I do. So that's where I come from. I've got so much kind of nostalgia for the Disney parks. For me, they are a happy place. They're a place to escape reality, which is what I absolutely love about them. And you just feel so immersed in that world there. And it is so magical, even though, sometimes some real world stuff like someone like barging into you, whatever happens when you're in Disneyland Paris or Disney World, it's still this incredibly magical place, and that's what I really love about it.
I would much rather be pushed and shoved about at a Disney park than on a train or somewhere else.
Oh god, yeah, because having a London commuter went up so years ago because I could not do it again now. It'd be awful.
So what's your favorite time of the year to go to the parks?
Oh, that is so hard. I mean, Christmas is a magical time of year, and I'm normally lucky because my birthday is mid-November. The beginning of the Christmas season normally coincides with my birthday.
Yeah.
So I do absolutely love that. It's been many years since I've done Halloween, but I would like to do it again. I just know that it gets so busy out there. But I have to say, when we did the parks last February, I actually really enjoyed it, even though it was blinking cold and it rained quite a lot. But it was really quiet. We could get onto everything we wanted easily. And Paris parks, they're built pretty much for bad weather. Obviously, you struggle to get in and out of it. And there was the day we did the studios, it just absolutely torrentially downpoured pretty much the entire day. So we were proper soaked that day. But apart from, stuff like that. So I would say that kind of like post-Christmas, pre-spring is a bit of a sweet spot if you don't mind the potentially bad weather.
Yeah.
Also, we've never had full-on serious snow when we've been out there. We did we've had really super bad ice and freezing fog when we've been out there before. Yeah, first ever trip Ken and I took together, because that was an early February trip. And I remember we went into central Paris and we got out of the metro to see the Eiffel Tower, and we were like, where's the Eiffel Tower? And literally then its leg came looming out of the fog, like about literally meters away, and it just was so foggy we couldn't see the blinking thing. We're like, yeah, doing up that today then. So yeah, that was so we've never experienced that, but I mean, I have to say the parks do look absolutely magical. Well, the recent people they had out there, and I love the fact they did the whole Elsa being in the Disneyland hotel doing a smell and Paris social media channels. That was kind of genius. So I would say that one thing that I would like to do again is also kind of the spring, maybe avoiding the Easter holidays, because we don't have children, so we don't have to go on school holidays, so we will avoid them wherever we can, because they are going to be busier. That's just the nature of the park. We did go in May once, but it was quite a long time ago, and that was very nice. It was quite hot though, even from early May. We had some really hot weather, so yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that again.
Yeah, I mean, the first time Sharon and I went together when the kids were little, we had real snow to the point of we were following the snow plows up the French motorways.
2010. That was like 15 years ago this year.
Yeah, it was 2010. Yeah, because James was 6 and Emily was 3. So yeah. But yeah, we've been to Paris in extremes of weather. Obviously, we had the snow.
We also went when it was hotter than the Sahara Desert, didn't we?
It was 44 degrees.
The problem is Paris just doesn't deal with that as well as US parks are.
The fire brigade had actually laid out fire hoses and stabbed holes in them to make like sprinklers.
Yeah.
But you were like walking through it, getting absolutely soaked, and then walking on, and you were like dry within 10-15 minutes.
It was obscene.
Yeah, that was a very, very strange day. It was like
we've been where the fountains at the castle have been frozen as well, haven't we? It's been like bitterly cold. But
yeah, I mean it was -6 out there this weekend.
Yeah,
it was cold.
Yeah, my Dunvog. I lurk in a lot of the Facebook groups for Disneyland Paris. And I've seen a lot of people in there talking about how blooming cold it is. And some people are saying, can you put up a photograph of what people are wearing to make sure they're warm enough? And I'm just like, how do you know that person's warm enough, though, if you just take a picture of a random stranger in the park and don't know them?
It's just like wear layers. I mean, I'd like a thermal layer on, then a T-shirt, then a jumper, then this hoodie, which is like fleece lined, and a hat and gloves. And it was like various stages of taking them off throughout the day and putting them back on again. And
I think layers are the key for Paris, because it can be so changeable out there. And I think people sometimes they get confused with Paris, because I think because California and Florida generally are very sunny, although obviously Florida has its torrential rain every single day in the summer.
Yes.
That you clock by, and the occasional hurricane.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people assume Paris is going to be the same as no, the Paris climate is like the UK's.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh when people on the Facebook groups always ask what the weather's like. It's like, well, it's pretty much the same. It's in Europe and it's a little bit south than us, so it's going to be maybe 1 or 2 degrees warmer.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's the same weather. It's Europe.
That's what makes me laugh when they say, what's the weather going to be like in 2 weeks? It's just like,
Let me check my crystal ball.
It's just I mean, people are worried. They want to know what the pack. I get why people ask these sort of questions, but it's a bit like no one can predict that for you. I'm really sorry.
No, it's I said first time I ever went out to Disneyland Paris. James was 6, and it was the Easter time because his birthday's in April, and we went out for his birthday, and it rained the whole time we were there. It was like, but it kept the crowds low, so it was like, well,
kind of swings and roundabouts. I mean, the problem we had when we went in the February last year is because it was actually pretty windy all the time we were out there, so the drone show didn't happen once.
Yeah.
Nights, and we didn't get to see it at all. Whereas our last trip in November, it ran every single night we were out there.
Yeah.
And you just can't predict it when it comes to that kind of weather. And I am actually, much as I loved the Electrical Sky Parade, I'm kind of pleased they've incorporated the drones into the main show now, because then if they can't go, at least you're missing out. You're not missing out on an entire show. You're just missing out on a bit of one.
The new show is really good.
It looks amazing. I can't wait to see it.
It is really good.
We'll need to plan trip. We're cheating on Disneyland Paris and heading to Florida very soon. But
how dare you?
No,
we're going to California in like 105 days. So.
We are, yes. We're actually going to California.
Oh, jealous. I mean, we were lucky. We did California once, but it was 2015. We went out there when it was the Star Wars celebration.
Yes,
and it was also Ken's birthday around at the same sort of time. So we and we got really seriously questioned at LAX because they said, so you put the hotel down where you're staying, and it was obviously a hotel near Disneyland. Yeah. And so, where else are you going to? And we're going to another hotel in Anaheim later in the day for the convention.
Yeah.
So you're just doing Anaheim? I'm like, yeah. It's like, yeah. We're going to do in Anaheim for like, I can't remember, it was like 10 days. And it's like, well, convention, and we're going to Disneyland. Like, what, for 7 days? Like, yeah. And then they demanded to see our paperwork to prove we were actually going to leave the country. I think they abscond. I suppose. It was like, is this weird about people doing days in Disneyland? Just because we'd never been before, we weren't sure we were going back, and we knew we need to pace. That's one thing that we would sort of say for anyone who is differently able to pace yourself. Anyway, if you're not differently able, love of goodness, pace yourself.
Yeah. I've found that in the last couple of years. I do now need to have a rest day. I cannot do.
She breaks herself every trip.
It's like,
yeah, I mean, well, our last Paris trip, because we were doing lots of bits, because we wanted to do a bit in each of the hotels. Normally, we would just be heading back, and we were staying in Santa Fe.
Yeah,
fine, but of course, it's the furthest away hotel from the parks. And we tend to shuttles where we can, because they're just like an utter bun fight around Park Hope and Park. Yeah. And the amount of steps we did, and I had a back support on the entire trip. But even then, I had the worst nerve pain going down my legs, like for weeks off when we came back, and just like, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. It takes me a good week to 2 weeks to recover from any trip, and it's brought to you by caffeine, painkillers, and an ice gel. It's so out of all the parks, what is your favourite ride?
Oh, out of all the parks, honestly, Disneyland Paris, I think. Because the Phantom Manor / Haunted Mansion / whatever you want to call them is my favourite of the rides anyway. One of my favourite rides ever in world, Animals in Land. As well, but I just think with the updates that they did to Phantom Manor a few years back and bringing back the Vincent Price narration, the effects in it are so good now, and the fact that it's got this really solid storyline, which I love Haunted Mansion, but it doesn't really a lot of spooky stuff happens to you while you're going for a mansion, which is fantastic, and I love Haunted Mansion. I can't wait to ride it going next in Florida, but I do think Phantom Manor trumps it. But I do think I think because sometimes people think because Paris is one of the lesser parts, I'd say, well, no, because I think they've got the best version of that ride. They've got the best version of for sure. Everyone says it's the best version of Space Mountain, although I don't honestly like any other versions of Space Mountain, so I'm not a good judge of that one.
I can't ride Walt Disney World's Space Mountain because it shakes my back up so much.
Yeah,
it's like I get off of there and I just can't walk. I just give me half hour. It's like I'm fine,
We were like that with Rock and Roller.
Oh right, no, see, I can do that, not a problem.
We were to the point that we actually didn't do Avengers Flight Force when we were in Paris. We're like not risking it.
Yeah,
Rock and Roller did such a number.
It's the same ride. Just
it is. doesn't it? I did do it in Paris when it was rock and roller.
Yeah.
Yes, I just haven't done it in its new iteration as of yet. So yeah, so I do think people tend to underestimate Paris's attractions, and I will in Paris prioritise Phantom Manor. Normally, queue isn't too terrible for it either because it's a lonely mover. It tends to load pretty quickly. And a tip, if you've got the priority pass, unless you're in a wheelchair or something, you can either use the Premier access or go in the special way in the side door, which means that way you do skip the stretch room. But if you don't like a lot of crowds, you skip the stretch room. So.
Yeah. We found recently, if you go in about a couple of hours before park closes, it's like a walk on.
Yeah.
It was the same this weekend, and this weekend's timings were absolutely ridiculous, weren't they? I was sending you the wait times on the Saturday.
It's a weekend and the first day of a new show going on. It was always going to be bonkers.
Yeah. And Big Thunder Mountain's closed.
Big Thunder's down again. Yeah.
That's down for 6 months now. So yeah, the queue times were absolutely mad. But by about 5 o'clock, Phantom Manor was a walk on. It was brilliant.
We found that when we were the last couple of times we've been there again towards the end of the night. If you're not so fussed about getting a spot for the fireworks or magic, we found then actually like that side of Frontierland was essentially a ghost town. You could just walk through. The stuff's still open. It just apart from the paddle steamer closes early in Molly Brown, but closed as well, isn't she, for refurb at the moment?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's done. It's because they've had to put like floating bridges in to do the work on Big Thunder Mountain, which means they can't go round the river on the boat. So it's like they've taken both of them out of commission at once.
I know, it's a shame because it kind of does make that a bit dead. Area. Sorry, I just had a morning on my phone, hence the I wasn't trying to book you or anything.
So talking of food and like everything that we normally talk about, especially food.
We love a bit of food.
We love a bit of food. What's your favourite snack in a Disney park?
Oh, it's hard. I am a sucker for a classic Dole Whip, and it does sadden me that it's difficult to get a classic Dole Whip in Disneyland Paris. That is one thing I will say. I will say hand on heart, Paris still needs to up its snack game. It's getting better. It's got a lot better, but it still needs to up its snack game.
Yes. And anyone that says that food's better in Paris than any other part needs to be beaten to death with their own shoes.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, don't be wrong. Ken and I was thinking about this, and we've only ever had one proper terrible meal in Paris, and that's at a restaurant that's not there anymore, which was the old Pizza Planet.
Yeah,
that was awful.
That was awful.
It was never open.
All Pizza Planets are awful. The one in Disneyland is awful as well.
Yeah, and the one in World wasn't great. I mean, it became Pizza Rizzo, so
It's
soon going away with Dodo as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. They have now got a permanent place for Dole Whip in Paris.
They have. It was Café Le Bruce, but the problem is it's hardly it's
one of those only open in the summer on a Saturday when the full moon's up. And,
so blowing in a certain direction.
Yeah.
We have never been there when it's been open. So I've never been. That's part of the reason. Also, I'd quite like to do maybe a spring-summer trip in the vague hope you might catch that place.
Fake hope it's open. They did have the little cart that sold it.
They used to
by Agra bars.
Oh on that corner.
Yeah.
I'm pointing now, but obviously no one can see where I'm pointing.
But that again only came out if it went above 32 degrees, and
that's centigrade for American watchers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot when it was hot.
Blinking hot for Paris.
Yeah. But so I know they've now got a permanent location for it, but again, it's one of them that even like last weekend with the park being busy and it being the first weekend of like the new show, there was no popcorn carts open until about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Really?
Yeah. It was like
mental.
I was walking around going, there is nowhere to get a cup of coffee or a snack or anything. It was like, what are you doing? But like, it's Paris. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So what would be your one recommendation for a place to eat in any of the parks?
Ooh, any of the parks.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't agree with me. I have always had a soft spot for Captain Jack. Jack's was
Me
used
too.
to in Disneyland Paris. Then again, I quite like that type of like Caribbean cuisine, so it appeals to me. I don't mind seafood either, which also appeals to me, and I just love the setting of it. I actually think that setting is nicer than the Blue Biovers over in Disneyland, having
Really?
one as well. I just think it's more. I think the theme is a bit more atmospheric. The one thing I will say also about the one in Disneyland is that unless you're towards the back of the restaurant, you will not be able to see anything. It is. Take a torch, it'll be nice. Don't get me wrong, the service is brilliant. It's still a lovely, lovely restaurant. So yeah, I would always, that would be my one, but I would always recommend people go to. If I was talking in Florida, I would probably say Garden Grill in Epcot.
Oh, I love that place.
That's one of your. I don't know. That's Sharon's. I've never eaten in there. It's one I haven't done.
We should do it when we go back in September, whenever we go.
Whenever we're going back, this time.
Go in September. We should do it in September because we need to. Because we've promised ourselves we'd only do one character meal or one table service whenever we go. Because we've given up on doing stuff like that. But I think we should.
Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely one I'd like to do. So
you'd like it. The food's amazing.
The food is lovely. Yeah. Breakfast and
most of it at Epcot. So
it'd have to be breakfast.
You can do breakfast. The breakfast is lovely.
Yeah, definitely breakfast.
But we go out there soon, so I'm looking forward to
it. Yeah, we did the minis seasonal dining at Hollywood and Vine.
Oh yeah.
And they were all in their Christmas outfits and everything. So that was really good. That was a very good buffet. Lots of choice on that. So yeah. And what about anywhere outside of the parks?
Oh, now that one is hard because I have to admit we always tend to stay on site for when we do. So it depends if you're speaking outside the actual theme parks, but in Disney property or outside Disney. So
whichever, we are quite easy in whichever way. I mean, if it is in like not downtown Disney, Disney Springs or in the Disney Village.
If you're talking about Disney Springs, Arts Smithsonian.
Yeah.
We went there last time, and the food, mind you, go hungry because oh my lord, you get a lot of food at this restaurant. You will not be hungry when you leave. That was amazing. We absolutely loved the food, and if you do like a cocktail, the moonshine cocktails there are pretty decent as well. But yeah, and it's kind of like comfort food, so it's familiar stuff, but it's done to a really high level. I would absolutely recommend that. I know I have to admit in Paris around the park I tend to be Earl sandwich, which is not fancy. But
we love Earl sandwich.
Oh, we love an Earl sandwich. It's
like if everything else fails and we can't get anywhere or do anything, we're like, should we go to the Earl sandwich?
Yes. Very good place we found was Polite Pig.
Oh yes.
Oh my god, that was amazing. That place.
And that's a quick service as well. It's like counter service. You just go and order and they bring it out to you. Brilliant.
It was so good. And the food was, I was speechless, wasn't I?
Are you going resort hopping when you go out to Florida?
No, we're not. We're still staying in Port Orleans French Quarter this time round.
Right. Get the Skyliner out to the Riviera.
Oh, yeah.
Go into their quick service restaurant. It's like a sit down.
Oh, was that Primo Piatto?
Yeah, that's the one. It's amazing. It's
really
so good. And the croque monsieur in there is
without me, didn't
in
you?
Paris.
Where was I when you went there? Was that when I went out with Kenny that day?
Yeah, you were out playing with Kenny and I went resort hopping. But yeah, go out there. The croque monsieur there is better than the ones in Paris.
Wow. That is pretty high praise.
Yeah, I was like, how does that work?
I love the ones in Paris, but yeah.
The ones in Paris are good, but we had the Croque McQueen from that little laugh and go truck outside.
Oh yeah.
And they had scorched it really badly, so all it kind of tasted was burnt. But it was a very cold day and it was nice and warm, so it was.
I always get the one. We always get the ones from Market House Deli.
Yeah, Market House Deli knocks out a good croque.
Yeah, but the ones in the Riviera are better than that. And basically, you pay at the till. They give you a buzzer. You go and find a table, and you're sat there with a real candle and proper knives and forks, and they wrapped in a fabric napkin. Come out.
Wow, that's proper posh.
Proper posh it is. This. When I said for a restaurant quick service, like hotels quick service, it's amazing, and you're only paying quick service prices as well, which is really good. Oh, and they do Parmesan truffle fries with it as well.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. So, Disney films.
Which is my favourite?
Yeah, what's your favourite Disney film?
The Lion King.
Lion
King Tattoo. It is my favourite film, full stop. It's not... Obviously, it's my favorite Disney film, but it is my top 3 films, full stop, are The Lion King, the original Beauty and the Beast. It's obviously original Lion King, I have to say, not the recent one.
Yeah, not like the live action ones. The animated ones.
Live action one.
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Those are the top 3 films. Anyway, so sorry, the cat just fell off me.
Poor cat.
Yeah, I know. You could have.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what's your feeling about bringing the Lion King land to Disneyland Paris?
I mean, obviously, because the Lion King is my favourite film, I am super excited about it. I am surprised they're choosing to put a water ride in Disneyland Paris. I think, because as we mentioned here, it's cold up there quite a lot. And it can rain a lot. And
water freezes out there.
I know, because is this going to be right? It's going to be an operational part of the year, which is going to be a problem if that's the case. So I will be interested to see how they manage that. I think putting a water ride, because everyone always said the reason there's no Splash Mountain or would be now be Tiana's out in Paris was because it was too cold most of the time.
It's exactly the reason why.
So so then now they're choosing to ascend, and from the concept art is effectively
Splash Mountain.
It just looks like Lion King's version of Splash Mountain.
So I mean, I'm sure the land is amazing. I mean, I absolutely love the River and the Pryland show out in Disneyland Paris. I actually would say that it's the best Lion King show in a Disney theme park. Putting it over Festival of the Lion King, and I love Festival of the Lion King. Ooh, I just had an alert saying my battery's low, so I'm going to move to my battery charger so you get a nice view of the room now. Give me a second. But yeah, so I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean the Disneyland Paris's Lion King show is like Broadway quality.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. I'm
loving your Haunted Mansion wallpaper.
I know. I saw that. Ooh.
Oh, look, there's Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Yes, sorry, I'm just curious. Yeah, this was hand stenciled by Ken, believe it or not.
That's really cool.
He's a good one, isn't he? That's brilliant.
Dave. I'm very pleased that Ken do this kind of thing for them. I'm just going to grab the table. And you can see my. Well, there we go. Right. Sorry, because obviously behind the scenes for people watching, and we were supposed to do this on the computer, and my computer wasn't playing ball, so I had to do this on my phone.
Yeah.
I didn't charge my phone planning for this because I was not expecting to do it. There we go. But
the technology is wonderful when it works.
It works.
You love technology, don't you, Sam?
No,
Right,
I don't.
I'm going to upset loads of people because I need to say, Alexa, Katie charger on.
Okay.
Bing, hey, there we go. Sorry about that, guys.
My one's not called Alexa, so it doesn't bring up. One's called something else.
That's probably very sensible, actually, because, yeah, we do have had times when people are doing stuff on the telly and suddenly it's just like...
Bings on and off.
Yeah.
Right, okay then, next question. If money was no object, which park anywhere in the world would you like to visit?
Tokyo Sea. I want to do Fantasy Springs.
Yeah.
See that new Frozen ride at some point. And also the Tangled ride looks amazing. I know it's maybe very short, but that lantern scene, oh my god.
Yeah.
And also just the Tokyo parks in general, there's just so much depth because that's essentially what the other parts could be if the Imagineers had no budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Golden Land, they've also had a budget, so you don't quite get the same level there. So that would be my dream. But I have to admit, one of my bucket list ones is to do every Disney park.
Yeah.
And I say I've done the Paris, World, and California. So my next, so at one point I'd love to do Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Tokyo, but yeah, that would be a lot of savings going.
Yeah. I want to do the Shanghai Pirates.
Yes, Shanghai Pirates looks really good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Shanghai Pirates is my dream one.
I do also. I would quite like to do a Mystic Manor in Hong Kong, which is their equivalent of the Haunted Mansion. But it's a very different kind of style. But it's because they have a very different view on like the
they've got different cultural aspects regarding the afterlife and
it's just they put the classic Haunted Mansion in Tokyo, but I think the other thing I like about Tokyo is they've got a lot of the older rides that they've not updated, so it'd be a bit like a throwback to like the 90s. Those rides, because it'd be like Pirates without the more recent updates, Haunted Mansion without the most recent updates. It's still got there. I mean, I'm not knocking Disney for making those updates in the the US and French parks. So I completely get why they did it. But yeah, my kind of nostalgia 80s 90s kid head would quite like to go back to those versions, I think.
Yeah, and they are keeping Splash Mountain. They have no qualms about not getting rid of it. They are keeping it. It's So
hopefully it will still be there when we finally make it over, because I miss it. As much as Tiana's was good, I really miss Splash Mountain.
Yeah. Although last time we were in Florida, we were out there when Splash closed, and a few days before it closed, we got evac'd off it.
No.
we got stuck. We got stuck on it, but we actually were able to be the park and ride on its last night of opening, and that was
wow.
Well, because we lucked out because we had managed to get a lightning lane for it, which was a result in its own right. And then, for whatever reason, we were sat in the front of the boat, and the group behind us started like fanning around. So we just sent the boat off with just me and Kenny. So we had our own private tour of Splash Mountain for its last.
Brilliant.
So that's a really, really special memory. I'm looking forward to seeing Tiana's, but I will miss Splash. I've got a lot of fun memories of that ride.
Yeah, most definitely. So, what is your favourite / bucket list hotel?
Oh, favourite hotel I've stayed in Polynesian in World. I loved it because when we were out there, so we had a splurge trip because we also renewed our vows when we were out there.
Yeah.
So we had a theme park view poly room.
Oh wow!
And and it was amazing. In some ways, I kind of wish we hadn't done it because it slightly spoiled any other Disney World resort.
Yeah.
Got outside my window, or it was enchantment back then. So I would happily do the poly like over and over again. I would quite like to stay in some of the Disneyland California hotels, the official ones, because when we stayed out there, we stayed in a Best Western, I think it was.
Yeah.
Just distance on the park, so it was fine. I'd love to do the Disneyland hotel out there. And in Paris, the new Disneyland hotel obviously is also on the bucket list, but it's expensive. It might be a little while. But we did go and have a look around in there when we were last out there.
Yeah, I went and had a look around.
It's not cheap. And I would love to have a theme park view in there. We stayed in the Disneyland hotel once before its refurb, but that was us winning a trip. So we're going back, 15 years, something like that at this point. So yeah.
Sharon, yours was about 10 years ago, weren't it?
Yeah, I've stayed in it twice. Can't remember. But it was, probably 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah. So
it was a lot cheaper then. I really enjoyed it. And we had a view, second time we went, we had a view across the Studios Park. So all I heard was people screaming from the Tower of Terror. Which was great. Yeah, which was fun.
I mean, £900 a night now off season is a bit steep for the Disneyland Hotel in Paris.
It is very, very expensive. I mean, people who have stayed there have raved about it, so it's doing what it's doing right. And I have to say, like, the lobby and stuff is blinking stunning going in there. Although I actually found their Christmas decorations kind of creepy. They had like these Guardians of Winter, and I thought they looked a bit sinister, but they might just.
Yeah, I mean, the chandelier is amazing.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Sam said she thought they'd spent all the budget on the chandelier.
They might have spent all the budget on the chandelier.
Yeah, it's I said it doesn't, for me, and obviously we'd been going into the Disneyland Hotel for so many years. It had that smell. You knew where you were by the smell of the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I was like, it smells wrong. It doesn't smell the same. It smells wrong.
Smell the same. You're right. The smell has changed in there.
Yeah, it smells wrong. I don't like it. It's like, nope. But no, the chandelier is stunning. It is absolutely stunning, the chandelier, I must admit. But yeah, the Polly is on my bucket list. Same with Wilderness Lodge.
Oh yeah, we've been in there a few times to dine Wilderness Lodge, but we've never stayed there. It does look, that lobby is just
we always go there, don't we? Every time we go and hang out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've stayed in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, we've done Animal Kingdom Lodge twice.
Yeah,
we went there on our honeymoon actually, and that is so amazing.
I had my wedding night in the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
They're still married, just saying.
Yeah, I know I'm not. No, okay. Yeah, right, we know. But yeah, so yeah, there's a few. So we're going to go and have a nosy around the Californian ones when we go out in May to.
Yeah, the one thing, obviously, it's been quite a few years been out there. Obviously, we just finished doing up what was the Paradise Pier, haven't they?
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that looks really good, and you can go meet Bing Bong.
Yes,
I can't. I would love to meet Bing Bong, although I might cry. I do love the Inside Out and Inside Out too. I think they're really great films, and yeah, but the death of Bing Bong was just like gutting.
no.
Spoiler alert, I suppose. Inside Out, but it's been out for quite a while. You probably should have seen it.
Yeah, you've been out for it. You're fine. I'm looking forward to seeing Cars Land at night with all the neon and
the neon lit up. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, I think that will be my favourite place there.
Mm.
I think that's going to be.
That's the only good bit in DCA. Just saying, calling it Steve.
I would say a few years ago that was probably true, but to be fair to DCA, they've put a lot of work into getting that park up to scratch. The DCA has essentially already had the treatment that the studios in Paris is
now getting.
Yeah, like first, effectively. I mean, we enjoyed DCA when we went out there. I mean, there were bits of it which we didn't like less than others. I think the only thing we found is that walking around the pier bit, which is now Pixar Pier, if it's sunny and hot, there is no shade.
Yeah.
It is kind of, and the sun beats down relentlessly on your scalp. And that's
another reason why we're going in May. So I don't spontaneously combust in the heat. I don't do heat.
Well, we were out there in April and we still had, but we had a heat wave when we were out there. And I think the temperatures were in like the mid-30s. All the days we were out there. And yeah, and I mean, neither Ken or I are good in the heat, to be honest, which is probably another reason why we like Paris. Much as I love doing Loveland, Love World, but it is quite nice doing in Paris. Just like, I can actually wrap it warm as opposed to feel like my face is going to melt off in 2 seconds. So that's great.
I did Florida in August last year.
Oh, you're brave.
No. Brave or idiotic? Wasn't sure which one. But yeah, it's like doing everything inside a sauna.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, when I used to go out there with my parents, we did a couple of times. We did the 6 weeks. Because my brother and I are both in secondary school.
Yeah,
and you still have a great time because it's Walt Disney World, and of course you are. But oh my lord, is it hot? It does feel like you're just like walking through soup at times. The air is so thick out there. So yeah, it's kind of why we've been sticking when I've been going out there more recently. We've either did like later in the year, so around November, or early in the year, so January, Feb, because to be a little bit more bearable. Although you then occasionally have those I'm going to be randomly freezing cold for no reason days that just like one day of it and then it goes away again in Florida.
Yeah, we had a couple of those, didn't we? We had one day where it was cold for no reason, and then the next day it was boiling hot again.
Yeah.
Florida loves doing that. It's just a bit like I'm going to change temperatures on you randomly for no reason whatsoever. Just like
I mean, I love like the February time.
Yeah. Really it's kind of way because also we absolutely last time we went out there we did get Festival of the Arts and we're getting it again. And absolutely, I think I would say because we've done 3 of the 4 Epcot festivals, and I would say that was
same. Yeah. Flower and Gardens do.
We haven't done Festival of the Holidays. Never been out.
Out of the 3 we've done so far, Festival of the Arts is my favourite.
Yeah, I love Festival of the Arts.
Baymax is like, I want to be in this video.
Determined, aren't you? Hello.
Like, pay attention to me.
Joy of cats, I tell you, is a lot.
We're having severe FOMO at the moment about Festival of the Arts.
That was open today, didn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He was like, exciting. Going out there soon.
Yeah. Apparently,
when are you going out there again?
Next week.
Ah,
So very soon. Yeah.
that's amazing. You'll get to see it all.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But
yeah, apparently today they've underestimated the popularity of the deviled eggs. They had to open 2 queues up for the deviled eggs.
The deviled eggs. I still remember Figment Popcorn Bucket Gate, the first year that happened. I wasn't out. Oh my lordy, like the 5-6 hour queues.
Yeah.
We did mobile order the popcorn bucket, and I was just like, yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah, that sounds better. We'll do that. Yeah.
Don't talk to me about popcorn buckets. I had to carry that bloody thing around all day. Twice.
I love it, but it's not the most convenient thing on earth, is it?
Well, it wouldn't have been so bad, but it wasn't even for me. I was buying it for somebody else. I was being a popcorn bucket mule.
Yeah, it's because it was at the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party, so it was the party exclusive. Yeah.
So it spent all day in my bag while we're at the party, and then when I had to deliver it, it spent all day in my bag and went to Animal Kingdom with us.
It was a well-travelled popcorn bucket.
It was very well-travelled. And I had my Mickey Nutcracker sipper as well. So we had that too.
Have a double whammy going on.
Yeah.
The mini as Winifred Sanderson sipper they have for Not So Scary.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. You just know, because we're going there this Halloween, they won't bring it back.
No, there'll be
there'll be something lame that you won't want.
Yeah. And then I'll have my 2-year-old tantrum.
Out for like the last several years. He seems to come out every year. Mickey is a mummy. I orders a massive stock of them several years ago, and they'll be like, yeah, we'll whip him out again. That's fine. Even fell out off.
But hopefully, because we're doing California first, we'll get all the good ones in California.
And they just better ones, don't they? Although I think Tokyo gets the coolest popcorn buckets.
Tokyo's are amazing.
Some of the ones they've had out there, just like, they have a beautiful beast one they had when their new ride opened out there.
Yeah. So we're hoping to catch all the good, like, Star Wars ones in May.
Yeah,
because we're out there for like May the 4th.
Oh, fab.
Yeah, and then Halloween we're going to California first. So we'll get all the good ones.
And then we have to carry them all the way back to Florida.
Yeah, of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's why I've got an empty suitcase for the popcorn buckets.
Very
well. That's okay, because you're not being mule to carry other people's stuff back.
Nope, not at all. Not me. Right, so last question. So a really nice and easy one. What is your ideal best park day ever, and which friends and or family would you want to spend it with?
You don't have to say Ken because he's sat next to you.
Because we always have an amazing time whenever we're in the Disney park together, and we've got a lot of memories because we got engaged in Disneyland Paris. We had a civil wedding ceremony in Disney World, and we renewed our vows in Disney World. So we've got a lot of joint Disney memories going on, and just other fun stuff. If I wasn't going to say, because it would probably be a day with Ken in Disneyland Paris Park, but if I wasn't going to say that, I would say a day back in 80s, 90s Epcot with my dad, because my dad is really my dad absolutely loved the Disney parks. He was so in love with the Disney parks, and I've got my most kind of nostalgic memories of him in Disney at Epcot. And it was the old Epcot, so we're talking World of Motion, Horizons, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Good journey into imagination. Because much as I love Figment, it's one of my favourite characters, the current version. I need to get rid of Nightmare Fuel, Eric Idle Moon. Let's be honest. Every single
rumours that they're going to do it up and make it more like it was.
Yeah, every single D23, I'm just like, for the love of God, just so you're updating Figment and every time. But anyway, that's an aside. But also particularly my dad, we never you guys might remember, they used to do fountain shows behind Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
Nations, and there was once the Rocketeer music.
Mm.
My dad absolutely was obsessed with that show, and one time he hired a camcorder because, again, kids, that's how old we are. It wasn't on our phone.
Some kids are going to be like, "What's a camcorder?"
Yeah, what's a camcorder? Like a mobile phone, but all we did was record stuff. So there you go, that's a camcorder, and it was a lot bigger and heavier. And Dad was so keen to record this show, and obviously you didn't know they kind of cycled, so we ended up sitting on the bench for like 45 minutes just watching all the shows to make sure we caught the Rocketeer show. But I just have great memories of that day, and my dad passed a few years ago, so I've got really fond memories of him. So that'll be my. Otherwise, I would say a day with Ken, probably in Disneyland Paris Park would be my ultimate. Doing a lot of trips on Phantom Manor. So.
Yeah.
Getting on and off it.
And so quite a bit. I have to admit, I'm also really fond of Small World. So I'd be
yeah.
They're probably my top 3 rides out there.
Well, we tend to bounce between Pirates, Big Thunder Mountain, and Phantom Manor. We do like a circuit and then throw an odd one in and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Big Thunder out there, and I do think that is the best version. Well, when we were out there last February, it was when it was closed for refurb, funnily enough. We were on the Molly Brown, and there's donkey animatronics on it. They had peeled back some of the skin on their face to be like their metal skeleton underneath. I was just like, well, this is not near fuel.
No one needs to see that.
No one needs to see the skinned donkey.
It's going to come and kill me at night because of it was very disturbing. But yeah.
No one ever needs to see that.
No, I'm quite spooked because they have said they're going to do work on those animatronics for this refurb as part of the press release. Of saying, for the love of God, even take them off site or cover them up if you do.
Yeah, whatever you do, just move them.
Because if there were like kids in the audience and like kids on that boat, there were definitely kids on that boat. It's just But if they're noticed, I'm just like, how do you explain that as a parent? They're like, yeah, I've just peeled half the donkey's face off. It's fine.
Tide your eyes, kids. It's fine.
It'll all be good. It'll work out.
I'm not quite sure what they're doing to it because it had a massive refurb not that long ago where it had track changing and it had updated the updated effects, didn't it? Because it got the explosion effects. It got the last hill.
Yeah. They've said that they're doing a lot of the woodwork, particularly in the queue building, and like.
Yeah. That probably hasn't been touched for.
Yeah, my guess is probably starting to get a bit rotten, and so I mean, particularly in the queue building, that's a safety issue as well as a.
So it's a lot to do with the wood stuff, wasn't it? The wood stuff is. And
Disney has said a lot on their safety. I think if they thought there was even the slightest risk that something might go wrong with it, I mean, that would be my guess as to why they took it down again so quickly after that other long refurb. Because you're right, it was down like
18 months. It was down for, wasn't it? It was down for what felt like forever.
Yeah. But funnily enough, I was looking back at old photos the other day, and it was a photo from 2016 of us at Disneyland Paris, and me posing next to the Big Thunder Mountain is closed for a refurbishment site. That happens a lot. I've actually
yes.
I've just been open when I've been in Paris, to be honest. But it is open. It is epic. It is a fantastic ride. So I'm looking forward to when it's reopened later in the year and we can go back on it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. In the summer, they say.
Yeah.
Paris's time schedule. So who knows?
I'm not coming with you to go back until it's open.
I know. Yeah, you'll refuse.
This time scale, though, isn't it? They won't commit to a certain exact date until really close. It's like they still haven't done a opening for World Premier Plaza, or formerly known as Studio.
Spring 25 is all they say.
It's going to reopen in April for the new season when the year kicks over, but they backpedaled on that announcement again.
I mean, I would have thought they would have tried to go open for Easter. Because it's such a busy time. But
they closed it last April, wasn't it? And they said it's a year.
So I would have thought, and Easter's late this year, of course, as well. Yeah. I would have been trying to get that, if not that, in the May holidays. Because I think France has a couple of public holidays in May as well as us.
Yeah,
it does.
And the new music festival in the main park starts middle of April.
Yeah.
That starts the 18th of April. So
I'm surprised how late that was, because last year with the I forgot what it's called now. That really cool
Symphony of Colour.
Yeah, that started in February because we caught a press like a media preview of it the day before.
Yeah.
But like Josh D'Amaro was there and stuff. Disney big wigs were there watching it.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of vaguely hoping I'd spot for Iger, but there we go. So yeah, but I was surprised, and they've started putting out the decorations they had for that again in Paris.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people seem to really hate them. I actually quite like them. Maybe that's just me.
They're the Pixie Hollow ones, aren't they?
Pixie Hollow, like it's got a very strong fairies vibe. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they went out again because it's like it doesn't really fit with the theme of this one. But
no, it doesn't fit with the music festival theme.
But it means they don't buy extra decorations. They'll just roll out the ones they've used before.
Probably. I mean, Paris is very good on their reuse and recycling. So
yes, yeah. I mean, they've had the same Halloween decorations for at least 15 years.
Oh yeah, yeah. There were still bits of the Halloween decorations I look at and I think, like, I remember that, and I haven't been out there for many years. Although I think last time I was out there it was when it was the Pink Witches versus the Pumpkin Men, so that was.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. No, the Pumpkin Men that are out by the Cowboy Cookout.
Yeah.
Have been there for as long as I've been going to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
They've been there for 15 years. I know this. I have photos of them. It's
Sometimes they put them in a different place, but they're the same Pumpkin Men.
Yes, we know. We know. Well, thank you very much, Katie, for agreeing to come on and talk to us. It's been lovely having you on.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Please plug your blog so people can come and read your stuff.
Yeah, please do, guys. Our blog is magicallydifferentmouse.com, all one word. So just pop that into that. Or if you search Magically Different Mouse in a browser, we tend to come up pretty high in the search results now, which I'm not moaning about. That's
the Google algorithm.
Yeah, got to play the Google algorithm. So yeah, I try and post at least weekly, typically on a Friday. It might be on occasionally on Tuesdays as well. It kind of essentially depends what else is going on in my life more than anything else. But also we do try and post daily on our social media channels, which is at Magically Different Mouse on Facebook and Insta, and it's Magically Diff Mouse on Blue Sky because they don't allow that long a handle on, which is irritating. But anyway, but yeah, so please do come visit a blog. You can sign up for the newsletter and then you get the blog sent straight to you in your inbox, and we'd love to have you there. And yeah, follow us on social media as well. That'd be great.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been amazing.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.